Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. We've got a very special segment on pregame today. Going to be taking a very cool and in-depth first look at Sonic Generations. Showing us the game is our good pal Aaron Weber from Sega. What's going on, Aaron?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Thanks for being here. I know you've been here in the past. You've showed us Sonic Colors. You showed us Sonic 4, and now we have Sonic Generations. So tell us exactly what we can expect from this game. There's a lot of retro influence sort of content here. What's it all about?
So the game is really the ultimate celebration of Sonic's 20th anniversary. And some people might have known that already, but this is, in fact, Sonic's 20th anniversary year.
He's an old man.
He's getting there. He's getting there.
He's up there.
We've grown to love Sonic. That's he has a special place in our hearts.
He'd probably be in college right now.
Yeah, just about. About. Right in those crazy years. So
those crazy Sonic years.
So to celebrate that, we've created a game that pulls from the best of Sonic's last 20 years. And so this game is a reimagining and also sort of bringing everything back in HD of all the best levels from the original Sonic games. So from the Genesis era, from the Dreamcast era, from the modern era. And then, of course, as you'll see right here in that footage, you've got Classic Sonic, and that's who's showing up right there. Now, Classic Sonic is the original design of Sonic back from the early 90s. And in the late 90s, they redesigned him to what you see nowadays, which is the green eyes. He's a little skinnier, but Classic Sonic was a little shorter, a little fatter, a little cuter.
For sure.
So we brought him back, and so the entire game is divided up into two parts, which is your classic levels, which play just like the original Sega Genesis level, kind of like Sonic 4. The physics are actually better than Sonic 4 in that regard, so we've taken improvements from Sonic 4 and added them here. And then you've got the modern levels, which are the best of 3D.
So just to clarify, because when I first saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, Sonic has a son now," and I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of that, right?
We have heard some of that. Yes. But do you want to know why? Why you're seeing two there?
Oh yeah. Well, you in part explained it.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's not, it's not his kid or anything.
And I was like, it's the next generation,
it's his,
Sonic Generations. Yes.
It's his right. That does sort of imply he's having kids, but no, Sonic. He's a conservative guy.
Yes, he's only 20 now, guys. Come on.
He's not married.
He's not married or anything like that. Come on. So now, what I'm really curious about is how did the thought process go in choosing which levels would make Sonic Generations? Because I feel like everyone has their own personal favorites. Was there like an outsourcing of that from the community, from the fans? How did that go?
This is a pretty cool story. So we knew we were going to do the game kind of in this vein. We knew we wanted to have classic and the modern levels. We didn't know which levels to pick, so the thought was, what are the most popular levels among all the Sonic fans?
Right.
What do people want to see? So we did some polling internally at Sega of Japan, Sega of Europe, Sega of America, and all of the resident Sonic people in each respective branch, kind of said, all right, here are my levels, here are my top 5, top 10.
Right.
And then we went out actually to the fans, and we went to the Sonic Facebook page.
Nice.
And we just casually kind of dropped it like, so what are your favorite Sonic levels?
Oh, and little did anyone
without anyone ever knowing it back then, they were helping us build Sonic Generations.
That's so cool.
Way back.
That's real sneaky.
Genius.
When you think of Sega, you don't think sneaky. That's really sneaky. I respect that, though.
I'd like to call it respectfully clever.
Yes.
Yeah, it benefits the players, so.
But yeah, no, it was cool for us, and it was a nice thing at the time. We're like, oh, these guys think we're never listening to them, and yet this game is going to be largely built on their feedback. So
that's awesome.
It was cool.
That's really cool here.
That's kind of the best way to design a game, I feel like.
For sure. Get that crowd input
makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so yeah, let's hop right into to some gameplay. What are you going to be showing us first?
Cool. So the first thing you're seeing right here is the world menu. And right now we're playing as Classic Sonic. We can switch between Classic and Modern here. And in the world menu, we can jump around. It's completely interactive.
Oh,
so
wow.
we can go from level to level. It's divided up by era.
I really dig the whole, white background, like it hasn't been drawn yet. He's sort of in limbo.
Yeah, and a lot of the storyline, the reason that Sonic has met up with his younger Classic self is because of the time holes that are created by a new mysterious enemy. And so all of Sonic's friends get pulled in and kind of kidnapped. And Sonic, as he's going through time to save his friends, comes across what you see here right now, Classic Sonic. And so the two team up, and that's actually Classic Tails right there, too.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Old Miles, right?
Yeah, Miles per hour. So those four work together, Classic Sonic and Tails and Modern Sonic and Tails, to try and restore time, save their friends, and find out who's behind, this mysterious time problem that's going on.
Now, just because we see two other characters, Tails and that's Amy, right?
That is Amy. Yep.
Look at this guy dropping names.
He knows.
I'm in the know. You do not get a choice to play as them, or is that something you guys aren't?
We decided we wanted to focus on just Sonic as playables in this one. So you got Modern and Classic. Now, for those people that really love the friend characters, that absolutely want to have some sort of interaction with them, you can talk to them here in the world menu, but there are also some of those side missions, and I'll go back and show you guys real quick what those kind of look like. Now, the side missions are completely optional. You really only got to play one per zone to advance on to the next era. So all of these three things you see right here, each is a different unique side mission. So this one, for example, if we were to look at this, in this one, you're racing against Knuckles, and all of the bad things, like the moto bug you see in the picture there, it's just like massive. It's like 800% its normal size.
Wow.
So all of these are completely optional extra missions that we've added in to try and give players something extra to go through. So as you're playing through, you really only are going to play one of these 5, and there's another 5 as Modern Sonic. So you've got 10, and you're only going to play through one that you have to play, but then if you want to, you've got 9 additional ones for every single zone that you can go back and play just as extra bonus content.
Very cool.
So,
now, again, I don't know if you said this maybe in your description, so those sort of minigames, what do you really earn from stuff like that? Like,
there's a lot of cool extras and unlockables, and I can't reveal all of it just yet.
Okay.
But I will say that there are a lot of Easter eggs, there are a lot of unlockables in this game that I think the fans will certainly enjoy when they see what we've hidden here.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool.
So this is our bread and butter. We just kind of showed you the extra side content, but what is the main focus of the game? And that is this, the levels right here. Now I can switch between classic and modern right here if I want, or I can actually change Sonic visibly in the world menu. We're going to play classic Sky Sanctuary. So this level is from Sonic and Knuckles originally.
Right.
And the level itself, you probably heard in the background there was a nice remix that they had going on, like an instrumental.
And that's a huge component of Sonic. The music in these games is awesome.
It is. And a lot of these original tracks were written by Masato Nakamura-san. And Nakamura-san, when he kind of made the music for Sonic, I remember reading an interview or hearing an interview that he said, he didn't want to make music that was like video game music. He wanted to make movie music, like an actual proper soundtrack.
Cool. And
I think a lot of that music, that shows, because you can listen to it now, and even 20 years later, a lot of this music is still really, really impressive, really awesome.
Well, it's funny because I think the last time you were on the show, I remember talking about the music, and when me and my sister were little, we would like make up lyrics to random songs because we were just strange.
Nice.
But the music in these games has always been so great.
And right here, what you see in the background, if you pay attention, actually, the Death Egg is rising up as we're progressing, and you'll see the egg bots flying out of it as it goes up through the clouds. Now, you saw those signs there, and the sign is actually a pretty cool feature. It is optional, first off, so if you want to turn it off, you can, but Sonic games, as they progress through 3D, face the challenge of how do you kind of raise the difficulty through the later stages without adding these bottomless pits.
Right.
And so the bottomless pits are kind of frustrating because you just die, and so in a platformer game, it's understandable, but still it is a little frustrating when you're going from doing really well to just death. So we've added these signs that let you know anytime a bottomless pit is near to kind of watch out because you got one coming up. So
I really appreciate that. And then call me what you will if I'm not hardcore enough. But I really could have used that 10 years ago.
Bottomless pits get you, Jeff.
that really would have been super helpful back then.
Game looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, every single level has been essentially reimagined in HD, and then so this is the classic level right here as Classic Sonic. Now, this level is completely different from what Modern Sonic will play. And so I'm going to show you guys Modern Sonic after this, and you'll see just how different it is. These clouds, one of my favorite parts of the original level, and you get to bounce on these again.
That's awesome.
And if we can pull this off. Almost made it up there. But there are multiple paths, and that's another key feature of any good Sonic game, just like Sonic 4, is you've got your high path, your medium path, your low path, and the trick is to kind of figure out, can you stay on the high path? Can you manage to keep it up for a long time? These, some Sonic fans might recognize. Let's see if I can pull this off. What we want to do here is take this, and as it's falling apart, we want to get up a little bit further. I'm going to try and make it here. There we go.
Nice.
So Classic Sonic here has just that spin dash. He's got the jump. He doesn't have the homing attack. So that is something that I think that purist fans will appreciate over Sonic 4, is that he doesn't have the homing attack. He plays just like the Genesis games in that regard.
So is there any gameplay difference in terms of his feature set going from modern to classic?
Completely. It's a completely different set. It's, actually, the levels themselves are built very differently just for each Sonic. So.
Gotcha.
So all those Genesis fans, I think, will really appreciate the classic Sonic. A lot of people that might not have played many of them or the newer 3D games, just because for whatever reason or another, they decided I didn't want to touch the 3D Sonic. They'll certainly love this because this is going to feel very familiar to them. Now, at the same time, I think a lot of the younger audience that really, really started with the 3D games or enjoyed those quite a bit will probably come into this saying, "Oh, what's this 2D stuff? I don't know about this," and then they'll go out of it saying, "Wow, all those old guys on the internet that said it was really good, they had something there." So
They weren't crazy.
it'll have mutual appreciation on both sides, I think, after that. Yeah.
Now, is this the first non-DLC Sonic game for PS3 and 360?
It is not. Sonic Unleashed was before that. Now, Sonic Unleashed, though, was kind of it was very polarizing for people because it had these daytime levels that everyone loved. The daytime levels were fantastic, and then it had the Werehog. And the Werehog, either you loved it or you hated it, pretty much. So there was a lot of hate going on for that. So what we've taken for the modern stages here, and this is one of my favorite parts of the level right here, by the way.
That is so cool.
The modern parts of Sonic Generations pull a little bit from the daytime levels of Unleashed, and also they pull from Sonic Colors. So it's like the best of Sonic in 3D. That formula has become what is the modern here. So that was classic.
So how different is a stage in 3D versus 2D? I guess you'll probably show that to us.
Yep, I will. I'll just let you see it. Yeah.
Look at this guy getting A's, trying to show off here.
Hey, I don't get A's, man. I get S. No, I'm kidding. As with most Japanese games, S rank is the highest you can get. If you score a maximum score and then you do it without dying at all, you get what's called the perfect bonus, and that'll bump you up one rank regardless of where you're at.
That's pretty cool.
So S is the highest. Yeah.
Very cool. So now, we're going to see the same world, but in 3D.
Yes.
Cool.
Awesome.
So modern Sonic in 3D is going to be very much behind the shoulder for most of it, but it'll also switch sometimes to a 2D side perspective.
Gotcha.
And not to be confusing here, but also the entire game, if your TV offers 3D support, you can play all of it in 3D as well.
Very cool.
So, I really want to experience. I mean, I feel like this sort of reimagination of it lends itself really well to 3D. I mean,
even in the 2D with the foreground and the background.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Is there a lot more development that goes into doing something like that for 3D?
There is, and to be fair, I don't know all of it. I just know that there's a lot of work that they put in just on pretty much every angle of this game.
For sure.
So what we're going to look at in just a second is the modern, and in 3D, it's really, really impressive. TV 3D, that is. Because this is just, we call this the modern Sonic, but if you're in 3D, everything is just blazing by, and it's a really, really cool experience. You're going to notice that these levels are typically much, much faster paced because of the boost that we've got, and that's the bottom left corner right there. So when I hit the boost, that's X, we get that blue aura around Sonic, and he goes crazy fast.
Cool.
And he can do those tricks while he's in there, right? And that helps with boost?
It does. The tricks will refill the boost.
Gotcha.
Now, the gameplay mechanics look kind of similar to Colors, which is a good thing, because Colors was awesome.
Yeah, Colors is a great game.
Yes. Yep, so yeah, as mentioned, it's very much a sort of hybrid of Colors and Unleashed, and then they've improved the formula from there, and the result is this. So it's come out really, really well.
Now, are the wisps still present in the 3D version?
It's a good question. The wisps you won't see in any of these levels because we're looking at a level from Sonic and Knuckles at this point.
Okay. So
wisps, in terms of history, have not appeared yet. Will wisps appear in the future? That's a good question. Maybe if there's a Sonic Colors level, you might see wisps.
Cool.
Who knows? So what I'm trying to do right now is get to the high path. There we go. And the boost that I'm using here is kind of it's a double-edged sword because you can't just hold boost to win, as I've seen people on our forums, try to say, those naysayers. It actually requires a lot of skill to use boost effectively and often. So the trick is that as you play more, as you practice, just like the original Sonic games, as your skill improves, you can complete the levels much, much faster. You can get your time down. And then, of course, you can see how you fare against other people on the internet.
Man, you are good. It's like therapeutic watching you play.
It's very, very relaxing.
It should be a calming experience, yeah. Awesome. So here is another area where we've got multiple different paths. Actually, every single level in this game, both as classic and as modern, has multiple paths in almost every variation, and they'll converge and they'll split up again. Let's see if I can make it. There we go.
Were you switching back and forth on your own just now, or that's just part of the way the path goes?
That's the way the camera pans.
Oh, okay.
So right here, it's got us into like a Sonic Colors style, and if I can stop this guy from pushing that button. So if you don't stop him fast enough, he'll actually block this section of the level off, and you have to go above, which is going to take a little bit longer, but right here we get that shortcut.
Oh, wow.
Now, the original level, and just like the end of the classic level, everything was kind of falling apart, so in the modern version, you're going to see a different take on that. As the level starts to fall apart right up here, everything starts to crumble. It's got a really kind of cool take on what if this level were brought back as a 3D level, and also what can we do in the modern levels was the dev team's idea to really make it fun and exciting. So you've played a lot of these levels, countless times if you're a Sonic fan on the old like Sega Genesis. So what can we do to make this a new experience for you where it's half parts nostalgia, and you're going, oh my gosh, I remember that, that's amazing. And also half parts, you're going, wow, I've never seen this before, this is pretty cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think people will really dig having their favorite sort of classic Sonic levels reimagined in 3D. That's to me, that's like the killer app right here. That's like the experience that people will sort of be blown away by. Just because, you know, growing up, you play all these games, and I don't know, I feel like even with Sonic 4, to be quite honest, you had that retro feel, but there was something not missing necessarily, but something that didn't maybe match that same sort of feel. And just by looking at the gameplay here, and you know, we've had hands-on before with the game too, it feels true to what was going on maybe 15, 20 years ago, for sure.
Yeah, that was definitely the goal of the dev team, was to, with Classic Sonic especially, to try and mirror as closely as possible
Right.
all the original stuff. So.
Yeah, but then you go back, you know, years later, and the games are still awesome, but there's something missing. But then you play a game like this, and it's almost like finding the ultimate Easter egg. You
Yeah.
know, it just enhances the game so much.
No, for sure. There's definitely that balance there.
There is, yeah.
For sure. So now, what are we checking out now?
This is Seaside Hill. So we've advanced one complete era. So there are 3 levels per era. So we looked at Sky Sanctuary from the Genesis era, and now we're in the Dreamcast era. We're in the end of the Dreamcast era, which is actually technically not on the Dreamcast for the fans that know their trivia. So this is from Sonic Heroes, which was the first multi-platform Sonic game.
Right.
Actually, it came out on the PlayStation 2, on the Xbox, and the GameCube. So this is Seaside Hill. We're playing as Classic Sonic first. This level is one of my favorites in the game, actually, just because it references a number of other levels in Sonic games of old. So if I can pull this off, let's see. Wait for it. Oh, almost. What we're going to do, if you can stay to the high path, you can stay out of the water. At this point, we're just going to go for a little undersea adventure here.
Yeah, this is giving me that sort of labyrinth zone
yes.
feel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you guys ready to feel a little scared?
Oh, here we
Can
go.
we turn up the music? Just wait. Wait for it. All the Sonic fans about to start panicking.
Yep.
Here we go.
Ah,
You guys think I should get
I
a bubble?
remember this. I'm starting to hyperventilate
I
a little
should
bit.
probably get a bubble, huh?
Get
Bubble?
it.
Should I?
Let's hear
should
the
I get that
nervous.
bubble? I don't. Okay. All right.
So I love how they like reorchestrated that panic.
Yes.
Does he still do that little animation where he sucks up the bubble?
He
Because
doesn't completely
I
suck
think
up.
when you're jumping, it doesn't show up. But I think when you're standing, maybe it does, or at least in the old games.
Yeah, we can try that. When he jumps and grabs it, what happens is he kind of he opens his mouth a little bit and
Yeah.
sucks it up. Yeah. Yeah, that music I think is perhaps one of the most traumatic songs for a lot of us in our
Oh my God,
childhood.
it's
Like,
nerve-wracking.
You're in the pool, right, and you hear that song, and like your immediate reaction is, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
I gotta get up. I gotta get out.
I don't care if I'm in 3 feet of water. I
I need to get out of the pool right now. So it's funny. I had a discussion with the guy not long ago about that. It really is interesting how that music has such a lasting impression on us. Even that little short clip, but it's got a very Jaws-ish vibe,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, to
Yeah,
it
yeah.
when you hear it. So
It's not comforting at all.
no, it's really not.
A lot of tension.
Now this part of the level is fun because it helps me remind people that Sonic is really not all about speed. Sonic is about platforming.
Sure.
And when you're underwater with the slow motion platforming there, it's a good reminder that the practice is what it takes to kind of stay to the faster high path. Right now, this song will be familiar.
Oh yeah. This is the invincibility shield. Where
Yeah,
you can
it
just
is.
like
Yep.
take down anyone that gets in your way.
So as we're going through here, let's see. Now these red platforms are ones that will actually fall down. So what I want to do is jump on it right about here. There we go. And pull it off. Got it.
Nice.
So the first time you go on those, typically you'll jump on it really quickly and it'll fall before you have a chance to jump to the next platform. So the trick is to actually wait till it goes a little further and then jump on it. But as with all things in many levels, it takes some practice to nail it. And that's kind of how it should be. I enjoy the fact that it does take some practice to get to the best paths in any Sonic
For
game.
sure.
So these cannons are kind of cool. They were in the original level, and the cannons themselves kind of would fire you across, and they brought them back. So every level sort of has its iconic features, its iconic gimmicks from back in the day, and they've tried to recreate all of those in this version of the game. So let's see if we can pull this part off. Perfect. Now, even though Classic Sonic never technically went through this level, what you'll find is that there are references to other levels hidden in it. I need to get to the low path. Let's see here.
So, do you play this game in its infancy stages and sort of suggest what you think will make it better, or
Yeah, a lot of
How
people,
does that work?
A lot of people at Sega actually sort of offer feedback and improvement, and we have lots of teams that do that. So my voice is one of many voices at Sega that all work really hard, and we all kind of offer feedback to try and suggest this might make it better, that might make it better.
Very cool.
And to their, especially to their credit too, the team in Japan does a fantastic job of really coming up with good ideas that make fans go, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So we've got these giant wheels trying to kill us here. Let's keep going. There we go. And though I took the high path, if you take the low path in this level, if you guys remember Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the second level in that game was the water level called Hydrosity. And in the very beginning of the level, you get pushed by this water current, and Sonic would grab on these little poles.
Right.
If you take the low path, there's a section just like that in this level.
Oh, and they sort of like swoop in. Yeah.
And he has to like hold on to the poles, and the poles will break because of the current.
And does he like shimmy up so he won't?
Yeah, he does. He does
right.
shimmy up.
I remember that.
It's kind of awesome. So every level has these little references to previous games, and maybe the younger generation won't notice it as much, but I think all the hardcore Sonic fans and all of us that are a bit older
will appreciate it.
The older fans,
that's really cool.
Like, oh man,
I love that. I feel like it just sort of pacifies everyone who would want to be playing it. Sort of like how when you see a movie that maybe is for kids and you're like, oh, but then it's written and there's like little Easter eggs and you're like, oh, you know what? I totally identify with that. It's cool. Very cool.
That was a big focus for us too. Is Sonic kind of is a character that really speaks to everybody. And even though over the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years, there were a few games that came out that were definitely skewed a bit younger towards the Sonic audience on the Wii. We wanted to make sure with this game that we're speaking to everybody. So that whether you are 8 years old, whether you're 80 years old, just kind of like with Sonic 4, we wanted that appeal to be everywhere.
Right.
And so that's what I think this game has really achieved very well in that sense. The storyline as well also has some. It's written for kind of a, not I would say younger audience, but it's got, like you kind of mentioned there, it's got the humor that the older Sonic fans will appreciate too. So here's another take on the same level, Seaside Hill. This time we're as modern Sonic. We've got the boost. We're going very fast. Right here, we've got multiple different paths we can take. I'm going to go on the left path because I practiced on this one a little bit more. So the music also is different, and it's not as easy to pick up, but this is going to be like the guitar modern version of it. And every level has 2 different tracks to it. You've got your modern version of the song, and then you've also got your classic version of the song. And some of the classic versions actually were written and composed and worked on by other people that were Sonic fans. So in one case, we've got one of the guys who did the Sonic Colors theme song. He helped contribute with some of the City Escape remixes. And in that remix, as fans have noticed, at Sonic Boom, which was our big E3 party, he snuck in the melody to one of the Sonic 3 multiplayer levels called Endless Mine. And it was very cleverly worked in, and the fans noticed it and immediately picked up on it, saying, oh my gosh, whoever put that in there is amazing. So,
there was a band that did the theme song for Sonic Colors, or that was a different...
That's same band. It's the younger brother in that band. He's a massive Sonic fan.
Oh, wow.
And so I got to nerd out with him and found out he did that remix, and I was like, that was you? You put that Endless Mine thing in there? Gosh, that's awesome.
That's super cool.
It's really neat because of the simple aspect that we've got Sonic fans that are working on this 20th anniversary game with the older generation. So Sonic Generations in one way is the 2 generations of Sonic. In another way, it is the 2 generations of fans. And in another way, it's also the different generations of people that are working on it. They grew up as fans and they're now trying to, kind of leaving their mark on Sonic, if you will, working with the old crew.
Many meanings behind the title.
Yes, there definitely are. So as we speed through here, let's see, I'm going to slow down. Now this part, we can go different paths depending on what we do.
That's cool.
I want to wait for the cart, and then I want to boost right through there. Let's go. There we go. Got it. Now if I get the turtle, that means I go the very slow route. You can see on the bottom there, actually, it's a lot of heavy platforming. In this case, we're just going to jump on our little go-kart and go.
Oh, that's awesome.
We can boost in this, yeah.
Sonic Kart.
So yeah, little Sonic and Sega All-Stars vibe going on here. Or
I feel like Sonic would be
Drift.
too cool for a car.
Yeah, he would run faster than it.
I feel like he doesn't really need the car. It's mostly for style points.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So we can go off the ramps, get extra rings here. This path is it's much faster to go through this path as opposed to trying to platform. So, and then he just destroys the car at the end. He didn't really need it anyway. He just trashed it. Insurance rates are terrible, but. So we've got the grinding going on, and then the wall running. Whoa,
oh wow,
running
that's
Sonic.
tough.
Got it. Perfect. So we're on the high path right here. This one's kind of tricky. Let's see if we can pull it off. Nice. So we're wall jumping in between here. Keep going. Nice. So the pillars come down. We've got to try and quickly get across. There we go. Perfect. Now those red rings you saw there, you can collect those, just like in Sonic Colors you can collect those. In this game they offer a number of different unlockables. Those are the fun unlockables I can't talk about just yet, but trying to get run over here. Oof. Alright. Go very quickly. Alright. Just in the nick of time, and that's the end of that level.
Cool.
So there's Seaside Hill as modern Sonic.
So when you're playing as 3D Sonic, there's still elements of like the 2D aspect, kind of like with Colors.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got those moments where you go to the side-scrolling platformer.
That's really cool. I feel like, and just to reiterate, I feel like even those 2D sort of level sections of the 3D part look totally different than the standard 2D levels that are based on the same universe.
Yes, exactly. So that's what we wanted to do.
Right.
Very much so. So you're essentially getting 2 levels for every level that you see here. This is City Escape, just to run by and pass and wave. And you can hear in the background, this is one of my favorite versions of the song. Sonoe-san did this. Sonoe-san's been with the Sonic team and working on song music for a long time. And as we go to every different level, you hear the music actually changes to reflect that level.
That's awesome.
Does it say what game each stage is from, or?
It doesn't here, but it will at another part in the game. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So right here, you'll hear the music.
Oh, nice.
So if you recognize that song, and I hope you do, that is the final boss from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and that is what we are going to check out right now.
Oh, that's so cool. I love how they're sort of like they're like they're just tweaked to that, bring it to that modern sort of level. That's really cool. What is there any way to? I mean, in terms of like unlockables, are there you sort of like previewed that a little bit? Is there anything you could tell us that deals with maybe music or?
That's a good question. What I can tell you about music is that a lot of the Sonic music, very popular, especially in the early days.
Yeah.
Now, as you get to the modern era, a lot of the music is very polarizing. So some people love it, some people, they're kind of like, I don't like that guitar stuff, maybe.
Okay.
But the cool thing is that regardless of what you like and don't like, you have an option.
Okay.
That's what I can say for now.
All right.
We've added a lot of cool stuff into this game. So
It's so perfectly vague. I love it.
It's perfectly vague. You'll be happy. That's what I will say. So here it is.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
The Death Egg robot. Classic Sonic, not about to let that happen. He's got the attitude. Now, Classic Sonic doesn't actually talk at all. You can hear Eggman in the background there, but Classic Sonic won't speak. We decided that Classic Sonic should actually remain mute, just like he was in the original games, and instead, what Classic Sonic does is he shows what he intends to do via his actions. So with this boss, you've got to find the weak point. I have just shown you the weak point. Typically, it takes 2 or 3 minutes to kind of figure out what you're doing here.
Now, was that the case in Sonic 2? Because I remember I would always cheat, and I would find an area on top where I could just constantly bounce on top, and
You would hug the corner of the screen and just
keep attacking from the top.
I don't know if you could do that here.
No, in this one, you have to fight him a little bit differently. You can't just ram into him like the other one could.
Is that true, though? Is that accurate? Could you do that, or is that just
I don't know that trick personally, but it could very well exist. So now at this point, the music actually starts to pick up. You'll hear everything starts to happen, and what we've got to do is get these bombs to trigger right as he swings his fist at them there. Try this one here. Come on, buddy. So we wait for it, and then run.
Oh, wow.
Oh, almost got him. Now, this version of the song actually is one of my favorites. There's a lot of good remixes out there that fans have done too, but this song is kind of just a really epic moment in the Sonic history, I think. And after you take the arm out, we spin down it, plop him on the head. Now, I have practiced this maybe 5,
you're
10,
making this look easy.
20 times.
Yeah.
This is the first boss, so it's not the hardest boss, but it's also a little bit harder. It's just like a good Genesis boss where it takes some practice the very first time.
Right.
And then once you've got that pattern down, it's pretty easy from there on in. So with that, we'll take out Eggman and his walker.
Man, that was quick.
I don't know if I could do that quick.
The first time, it would probably take you, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes to pull it off.
Yeah.
It's actually a very fun boss in that regard, and the music, too, really brings it back for me. So seeing Classic Sonic there is fun, and Classic Sonic has a lot of animations and pantomime stuff that he does in the storyline as he meets modern Sonic and modern Tails. He'll interact with them, but always through action. So it's kind of fun just to watch him. You'll see there he's very excited. He's spinning onto the screen, and then he's gonna he's pretty stoked.
That's awesome.
So Classic
Like a
Sonic
dog about to get a treat or something.
He's just like fueled with excitement so much that he's shaking.
He's just going around. That's very cool. All right. So that's going to do it for our preview?
I think that's what we've got to show for the preview.
You mean you can't show us the entire? No, I'm kidding. That was a lot more than we were hoping for. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, you did a great job driving.
Yeah, seriously,
very
man.
impressive. It's
Very
fun to
impressive.
watch you. I'm one of those people that has a hard time like taking a back seat and like watching someone else play, but you make it enjoyable. So
Yeah,
thank you.
for sure.
Thank you.
And we were talking about even before we started shooting today how hard it is to play and talk at the same time.
I know, man.
You did an unbelievable
you've
job.
mastered it.
Thanks so much again to
Thank you
Aaron
guys very
Weber,
much.
Associate Brand Manager at Sega. Sonic Generations is out.
Oh, very quickly, this
Yeah,
game comes
let's
out.
talk about
and
that real quick.
Yeah.
So platforms, first off, it's coming out on the 360, the PS3, and also on the PC. We just confirmed the
Oh,
PC.
cool.
I just saw that news
downloadable.
today. Yeah, very exciting.
It was the best kept news all year.
Yeah,
Best
that's
kept secret,
amazing.
rather.
Is that the first Sonic game on PC?
It is not the first Sonic game on PC, but certainly in terms of recent Sonic games,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Okay.
So that's going to be cool. It's also on the 3DS. The 3DS version is entirely new, though. It's got its own levels that
Okay,
are pulled
awesome.
from different Sonic games. So maybe you don't see a level from a Sonic game you really loved back in the old
Really?
days, then check out the 3DS because we might have the level on that version instead.
Okay, cool.
So the 3DS has essentially more content or just different.
It's just different content.
Yeah.
So, yep. So we got new levels on the consoles and also different levels on the 3DS. So
Gotcha.
cool there.
Awesome.
And the game is coming out on the next gen November 1st. So we are just weeks away right now.
we got an early
Absolutely.
preview.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
We're
you
very
guys did.
lucky.
Thanks
So-
for being here. And you said that 3DS is also November 1st as well?
It's not November 1st at this point, but we'll
Okay.
have an update on date as soon as
All
we
right,
can.
yeah, please
We'll
do.
keep we will keep you all very posted.
Excellent, and we'll relay that information to our audience as well. Once again, Aaron Weber, Associate Brand Manager at Sega, thank you so much. Very
you, guys.
cool stuff. And again, Sonic Generations out November 1st. We'll be right back on pregame. All right, that's going to do it for us on pregame today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mark Lasea, did we get enough games in this episode or what?
I don't
sir?
think people can handle it.
It's a lot.
Honestly, this was a big show.
For
Just
sure.
in case you didn't know.
Absolutely.
We're telling you at the end of the show that this was a big show.
We'll be back next week with a brand new game, so definitely tune in to that. Until then, I'm Jeff Bacalar.
I'm Mark Lasea.
It's pregame on CNET TV. Everyone, have a great week, and we'll be back next time. See you soon.